Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. It's me, Digi. We are in FS 2024, and we're going to do a really quick flight tonight. I'm just going online to chill with you guys and just enjoy the sim for a bit. We are at an airport that I created in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Excuse me, I made a scenery for. This is Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport, Gila Hotel, India Golf. And this is a scenery that I made with, actually at this point, fully custom buildings. This was actually the very first airport that I made in Microsoft Flight Sim years ago, but the issue was that I used default assets. There are still some default assets I'm using, but at the beginning I hadn't used custom buildings to create the airport, so I wanted to make a scenery when Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 came out, which was literally November of 2024. So I decided I was going to create this airport again, and I moved as fast as I could, and I made some rudimentary hangars, and I put the vehicles and stuff as best as I could to basically create the scenery. Tried to copy the satellite imagery and make some of the images that I saw on, like, say, I think it was Google Street View, and this is what I came up with. And honestly, I kind of like the result. And basically, I released this in flightsim.to. So if you want to find a GA airport in flightsim.to for KHIG, just look me up by name, DigiDriver, or just look up KHIG when you search in flightsim.to, or even when you search online, and you should get the 2024 version. There's also a 2020 version which has default buildings. Now, as you can clearly tell, this is not a this is not a GA aircraft. This is very much a airliner, and I'm not sure why the registration that I put in for the aircraft doesn't appear. It could just be a hiccup, but my tail number is supposed to be number 820 Romeo Bravo. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just enjoy this for what it's worth. I I don't know if this is actually going to work. I don't know, but can say that we're going to give this a shot anyway. So we are at KHIG, and we're going to be putting in some numbers very shortly. But basically, the deal is we're going to be flying from Higginsville to La Crosse Regional, which is up in Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. Cost index for the flight's going to be 12, but the takeoff index for this is going to be, like, in the hundreds, because we're going to be giving this full zoomy. It says departure runway may be inadequate for takeoff, and it's most likely right. Now, given this flight, we're going to be light, and I'm not sure how many passengers are taking with us, if we're taking any. Apparently, we're going to take 119 passengers with us, so I can tell you right now, this is going to be a toga takeoff no matter what this thing says. So, let me get started, and I think, actually, I can probably get the ground and payload to give me the sim brief numbers. There we go. And we're going to apply the load. So we have 119 passengers. We have 4.9 kilos of fuel. And we're going to apply the load instantly. And now we're going to go to I think the takeoff configuration, which is probably not going to work. So we're basically going to line up at the end of the runway that we choose, most likely 3-4 today, and we're going to give it the beans full blast, and we'll see what happens. For funsies, though, we're probably going to basically see whether this works or not. Surface is definitely wet. I don't know what the surface winds are, so I got to go back to the departure briefing. I don't imagine the winds have changed much unless the winds are variable. Winds are, where are they? Oh, wow. No meets are available. Let's go to the meets are on the onlines for KHIG. Maybe we'll get automated weather information. All right, so let's go. KHIG. Okay, there is actually no weather available. So whatever the case is, we're just going to go ahead and take off. Now, outside air temperature. Can anybody give me anything? I don't know. So I'm going to use VATSPY and I'm going to see if I can find KHIG there. And then we're going to just do the METAR for it. Okay, so literally no source. So I'm going to have to pick Skyhaven. Okay, so winds calm seems weird considering it's raining and thunderstorming. But let me go to MCI and make an approximation here. Yeah, I think the winds are coming out of the northeast. The temperature is 2-3. Temperature's 2-3. I'm gonna assume the altimeter is gonna be based off the Kansas City numbers. So I'm gonna use 29906. And winds, I'm gonna say 030 at 5. And I don't know how close to real life it's gonna be, but we're gonna take it. And what was the payload that we had for this? Gross weight is 60.5, so 60.5, 60557. And calculate. Unable to find safe performance data. So we're basically going to make V1 rotate and V2 probably 130 knots and make no flights. We're going to go toga, and then we're going to find out whether or not we actually get this to work. I mean, obviously this is for fun's sake and nowhere near an approximation of what we should be doing IRL. But let's see. Current altimeter. Do we have real-time weather? It's 29990. So, I mean, at this point, this basically means nothing, so I'm okay. Let's see. We're going to be climbing up to 370 for today's op, and La Crosse is probably going to be significantly more well-behaved than the shenanigans that I'm pulling off right now. So 340, is that close to what the magnetic deviation is for Higginsville? Higginsville is 338. And let's see. Okay. Nav accuracy downgraded probably because I have not turned on my IRS. Okay. That's fair. Let me also make sure the other lights and stuff are turned on. We're going to do nav and logo lights, turn on arm the emergency lights. Okay, annunciator lights work. And standby compass light on. And seatbelt no smoking signs to auto. Cruise supply on. Not going to worry about boarding. And what else am I missing? Probably nothing upstairs. Let's go down to the MCP. And IRS lines in 2 minutes. It's an accelerated timer. And I'll turn on flight directors, landing scales, and constraints. Both sides. And there we go. Let's go ahead and go to the FMGC. Let's do the flight request. There we go. KHIG to Lacrosse. Let's go to page 2 and get our numbers put in. We have them. I'm going to take 4.9 for block fuel, and we'll see how much we have extra. Extra 2.4, so that's actually pretty generous. I'm happy with that. At least I think it's pretty generous. Now, for our flight, again, there's no departure information. We're gonna be going direct to Drivel, Sags, and then India Romeo Kilo, which is what? It is Kirksville, Oni, and Zipper, and then we're going to be going direct to Lacrosse. Lacrosse has 7 approaches available. We will most likely take the RNAV at Pegs, I think, and then we'll kind of follow the river in, so to speak. So, here we go. Flight plan, again, GPS primary is on, that's good. And then we're going to take a look at KLSE and get our approach set. So, RNAV 13, no star, and we'll just insert. And Laker and Jack V are going to be waypoints on the approach. This might be, oh, I thought it was like an offset approach, but it's not. It kind of felt like it, but no. If we go missed, then we go to 3,000 feet and go direct to Cosset, at which point we'll go to Webva and do a hold. But it is what it is. Okay, now the flight plan is set. Let's just get the performance set. And again, like I said, I'm going to be shooting for 135 V1, probably 140 rotate, and 150 V2. And let's see, flaps with an up of probably 0.4 is going to be my go-to. And again, flex temp, nothing, because we're going to be going toga. And that's it. Those are our numbers. That's our flight plan. I think that's all we need to do at this point. Let's get this bird up in the air. So, again, definitely do not try this at home, but essentially we have the run of the airport and a roughly 4,400 foot long runway, which I suspect will just be barely enough to get us launched into the air unless we run into issues with, with weight. So we'll see. Okay, so APU bleed, I'll turn APU and start shortly, but let me see. 4.98 external power. Oh yeah, might as well make it comfortable for everybody. And engine's offline, APU is online, but it isn't started yet. And we have 23 set for the cabin temp. And that should do it. Can we make it even colder? Probably. And does that make a difference? It probably will eventually. Flight controls are offline at the moment, and I think that's all I need to do. Let's get the APU started and we'll get going. So, beacon light on, wing light on, nav and logo lights position 2, seatbelt signs on, and no smoking or electronic signs on. What else am I missing? Cabin is pressurized at this point, or should be getting there. And let's go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. That would be very important. And that's it. I'm flying offline. Let's see. It's an IFR flight, so we're going to need a squawk code. And weather system 1, all weather, both sides. TCAS mode on, TARA, and altitude reporting is going to be on. I think that's all she wrote. So, lock the door, and APU bleed is now on, which means we do not need the GPU anymore. I don't remember if this unit actually respects chocks, but I do believe chocks were removed when we got on the plane. Yeah, so chocks are off at this point. And that's it. All doors are closed. Let's go ahead and get ourselves prepped for departure. Okay, so GPU is on and we definitely have weather. Okay, what am I missing? Flight directors, landing scales are on. We have constraints on. What are we missing? Transition altitude is 18,000. Flex temp, no flex. And no, I think we're okay. At least I think we're fine. That might go away once I actually get the bird started up, so we should be good. Alright, so APU bleed is on. Let's get the plane started up. Ignition mode start. Engine 1, please. And while we're waiting, let's go ahead and set our interior view. Engine 1 starting up. Once this gets past 10, I'll go ahead and start engine number 1. Okay, here we go. Give me flaps 2 and set up to 0.4. Auto brake max on. Okay. Both engines available. Let's do a flight controls check before we turn the APU off. Okay, and we'll arm the ground spoilers just because we can. Back to mode normal on the ignition, and that should be all we need. Maybe a little bit of floodlighting on the main panel, just for kicks. Actually, I can barely even see it. Yeah, I can still barely see it. Wow, it's alright. Okay, so we got two good starts, and we've got roughly 4,900 kilograms of fuel to get us to the cross. And let's go ahead and finish setting up. Taxi lights on. Probe heat on. APU bleed can come off. Master APU can come off. That'll power down. And since we're going to be taxiing onto the runway immediately, I'm going to go ahead and activate strobes right now. Strobes, beacon, wing, nav, and logo. And let's get the landing lights turned on. That should do it. Alright. Let's release the parking brake. Parking brake is released. Okay, first time I tried taking off out of KHIG in an Airbus A320neo. This is going to be interesting. If any of you are watching the replay, don't spoil it for me. Of course, that was a joke. I don't remember if I updated the version of KHIG that I have on flightsim.to, but it's nice to know that the taxiway signs are working again. Now, before we get on the runway, let me stop and just finish my setup here. Need to get takeoff config checked, and we're good. Okay, now I can finish my taxi provided nobody's coming or going. No, we're good. Higginsville is an interesting airport because it only has one runway and has basically almost like a trumpet at either end, or a loop where you can basically taxi down to the bottom and loop around instead of having to turn around on the runway itself. Yeah, like I said, this could be a very interesting takeoff. Weather's making for an interesting departure. I'm gonna have to make sure I upload this to flightsim.to if I haven't already done so. We'll do a sound check once we get to the hold short point. Okay, parking brake is set, and let's just do a quick external sound check to see what it sounds like outside. Okay, not bad. Alright, so landing lights are on. I'm going to go ahead and turn my nose light to takeoff, and we should be good. Let's go ahead and get on out of here. I am East USA multiplayer, so if you have KHIG or you're around Kansas City and want to fly to Kilo Lima Sierra Echo, feel free to punch it now. Parking brake release. Let's go ahead and taxi onto the runway. I'm gonna have to give this the beans. Thank you, Eric Flight. Appreciate your support, my friend. Flying out of my airport in Missouri, and I'm going to fly up to La Crosse Regional tonight, just to once and done. So, line the bird up, hold down the brakes, and then basically this is fine. I don't care that I'm not on center line right now. I want to hold the brakes down. I want to fire it up. Albuquerque to Las Vegas in the 738. Hey, congratulations, my friend. Hope the fam is very happy with the new dog. Okay, let's give it about 50% N1. Hit the chrono button. Okay, we're stable. Mantoga. And there we go. Full power. Multi-poo, nice. Okay, we're rolling. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots, and we're not even past the halfway point. Okay, this is go mode. V1 and rotate. And up she goes. Nice. Positive rate of climb, gear up. I'm happy we had enough juice in the engines to manage. All right. Wow, this thing just takes off like crazy. Okay, stand by. Let's climb is set. And let's go autopilot. Auto throttle limited. There we go, thrust climb is set. Auto throttle limited. Let's go flaps 1 and flaps 0 very shortly. Let's get rid of the nose lights and disable the ground spoiler. Coming up on 190. I think actually we passed the clean speed because slat retraction was 182. Flaps 0. There we go. We are on our way. 2 minutes, 21 seconds in the air, and we are already at 5,000 feet on our way up to 370. I think I'm just going to go open climb today. Because, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do open climb. Might get going. Alright folks, welcome aboard. We just departed from Higginsville. Definitely not a destination that would commonly be performed in an A320neo. As you can tell by the amount of room we had left on the runway, was a bit of a close shave, but we made it. I just did it for fun. I wanted to see whether or not we could actually pull it off. Glad we did. Okay. Gonna check outside. Yeah, so we were like in this. And off we go. Okay. So we are open climb, and it is roughly 2,800 feet per minute. Hopefully, we'll be doing that for most of the way up, and then we have roughly 200 nautical miles before we have to go back down. Fortunately, I think by the time we get to 80 nautical miles, we will be reaching our top of cruise. So we'll be at cruise probably for a good 15, 20, 25 minutes. And then we'll come right back down to La Crosse Regional. And we'll be landing on runway 13 today. So, to those of you that are on my Discord and that were wondering what was going on, um, we'll keep details aside for now, but let's just say I had a bad day. Um, just been dealing with some stuff at work, and also just, we'll call them external circumstances that hit us really, really hard in the financials. I'm I'm being very candid. I'm I'm not sure what the next few days or weeks are going to bring, but God knows. If I had the opportunity to do something to make bank required to take care of my family, I'd be seriously considering that right about now. But we'll see. 10,000 feet, actually 11,000 feet. And in the sim, basically for kicks, I just turn the wing lights off once I cross 10,000 because it's just like I don't see a point, and I'm not flying at night right now. I don't know if that's procedure or not, but we're on our way. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that we definitely had our share of moments today, and my prayer is that whatever the Lord has in store for us comes soon, because it was rough. It was really rough. Just grateful to have my wife and my pets, and grateful to have you guys stopping by. In case you missed it, um, I'm in FS 2024. We're flying the Any Builds A320neo V2. We are on our way to, excuse me, we're on our way to La Crosse Regional. We took off from Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport, which is a general aviation airport, and we are just having a quick flight for fun. I wanted to fly someplace where I had scenery. I can probably go to a lot more airports now, courtesy of FlightSim.to, and at the same time, I am also a scenery developer. Thank you, Eric Flight, appreciate it. Yeah, we do not get to choose how our days go, so it's a thing. It happens. Oh wow. Yeah, I I woke up this morning, and basically I have a few barometers that tell me what the scope of the day is going to bring. One of them is whether or not I spend time reading my Bible. I'm a born again Christian, and I have a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And Does that mean my relationship with God is perfect? No, I mess up often, but He is a loving God who has conquered death and hell through Jesus Christ dying for my sins on the cross and rising to eternal life. Now, if I don't take time to read, I know that the day is going to be a bit to somewhat irritating, maybe even more so. But then I didn't do that, and I didn't even drink coffee until like 11 o'clock. Normally, I'm not even going into deep work without a few sips of coffee around 9:30 or 10 a.m. Thank you, Eric. I really appreciate the support. Appreciate your encouragement. I'm working hard. I when you face difficulty in life, when you face adversity, and it transforms you and it shapes you, there's certain things that you don't necessarily concern yourself with anymore. The further that you carry a weight, or the further that you wrestle and are changed and grow through circumstances, the less you necessarily care about whether or not you know people understand the stuff you're going through. I had a conversation with a friend from work, and I told him I basically gave him carte blanche into the main driver for my um, my current situation, and they said they knew they saw my effort, so yeah, they were doing something. Dem pork chops, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate the prime, and that is a fine username. Oh man, I should probably make pork chops tomorrow. Oh no, wait, we have chicken. So I don't know, like the difficulties that you face in life, like you you're either gonna like lean into them, or like they're gonna break you. And I've been through enough stuff already in life where you just gotta like make a choice. Pork chops help. You better believe they help. Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. If I don't make pork chops tomorrow, there's definitely going to be some pork chops either Sunday or Monday. Uh, but thanks for the suggestion. Well, it was like I was saying before. Like there's a point at which you kind of have to like lean in and just be like, I'm here for the duration. Like golden brown or charred. We're either going through this or we're going home. So that approach has basically been my credo for the past like year. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I sometimes feel like I am exceedingly harder on myself than I need to be. And the excuse that I usually use is, if I grind myself to a pulp and I do everything I can to get ahead and stay ahead, then what will probably happen is I will work harder than I've ever worked before, and regardless of whether or not anybody notices it, at some point it's going to pay dividends. Now, of course, the caveat to that is, you know, you work too hard and you'll keel over. I don't want to do that. But I think the investment that I've been putting in, and the image building that I've been doing with regards to my job, hopefully will pay dividends. That is, of course, if Yahweh Elohim's blessing is on the situation, and I come through it with better positioning at my job, or if I go somewhere else. So is what it is. He gets the glory no matter what. I just hope and pray for some reprieve very soon. I really do. In the meantime, Mrs. Digi and I are holding on to each other pretty much with everything we have and leaning on him. Like I said before, are we doing it perfectly? Absolutely not. But my hope and my rest is in God through Jesus Christ. And that's where I'm gonna be till my last breath. I just need to stop and let him guide me. Because I'm a sheep. I can be stupid sometimes. Not, I'm just kidding. But really, sheep do need shepherds. So, yeah, I need to keep listening to him. With that said, sheesh, we're like 10K away from our top of climb. And we're doing really good for flight time. I think block time for this is supposed to be an hour and a half. And we're probably going to just be doing like an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 10 minutes. And we do have some traffic in the area. I just don't know how close it is. Okay, it doesn't look like it's that close at all. I don't think I'd be able to see it if I looked out. If I was flying an X-plane and I looked that direction and they were like 30 nautical miles out, maybe. But MustFest doesn't let you do a zoom in with a default camera, and I don't have chase plane for MSFS yet, so it's okay. Now, this aircraft might be an issue, so I need to keep my eyes peeled, or not peeled, I like them intact, but I'll keep my eyes open. Man, open and climb doesn't go that fast. Or, I mean, considering we're almost flight level 300, that is fast. I remember the days of Flight Sim X Steam Edition. I would either fly the 737-800, the A321, or I would fly the Just Flight Freemium 737. I think 737-200. But the A321 was just this overpowered airliner. It was so fast, and it was also capable of stalling or dropping speed really quickly. So the flight model was definitely on the get up and go side. But I liked FSX for a few reasons. Um, I had a tablet PC at the time that I was using, a Windows PC, a Surface Pro 3. I still have it actually. And when I flew FSX with it, what was cool was I could literally flip switches with the touch of a button. With the push of my finger, I would literally touch the screen, flip the switch, and have fun doing that. Now, obviously, technology's come a very long way since then. So things are different. But at the same time, I kind of miss the days of the touchscreen. Let's see, about 5,000 and change away from top of climb. Not bad. But considering how top of drop's going to be relatively soon after this, ooh, let's see, 20 nautical miles. Okay, so there's a good chance we might catch this other airplane going by, unless I miss my guess. And it's further away than I thought. Yeah, it is. It's like 15-ish nautical miles. I don't think I'm going to see much of anything. Maybe contrails, but no. All right. Even low quality clouds in 2024 look nice. That's pretty neat. Okay, let me focus. Let's take a look at the weather for La Crosse. Okay, do a search for METAR. Okay, winds are 130 at 5, so right down the nose when we land. Visibility 10 statute miles, clouds clear. Temperature 23 dew point 20, and the altimeter is 3000. Let's get the approach data set. And 130 at 5. And what are the barometric minimums for La Crosse? 958 feet. The decision height is 302. Is that 958? Yeah. 958, that's baro mins. If we land flaps 3, we can do 137 for the approach speed. That's what we'll set. Flaps 3 means I need to do flap mode off and landing flap 3 on. And we have visual confirmation GPWS flap 3. Now, predictive wind shear is on, weather system 1. And there we go. Oh, and how big is the runway at La Crosse? Let me find out. It is 6,050 feet. It's a short runway, but it's not as short as Higginsville was. We are going to be using auto brake medium, though. That's to be expected. And we are almost 1,000 feet to go, where we'll be sitting for about, I'm going to say a good 10-15 minutes minimum. And that's fine. All right, coming up on 1 to go. 1,000 feet before flight level 370 and our cruise altitude. So, simple enough. We got loads of clouds in the vicinity though. And when we land at La Crosse, I presume we're going to be pulling off at taxiway Alpha, crossing runway 22 at Alpha 3, then Delta, crossing 36, and then going on to Charlie 3 and going to the terminal. I don't remember flying into La Crosse yet, although I'm pretty sure I downloaded this from flightsim.to as well. Let me take a look and see where I am. Okay, we are flying past Tumwa and Oskaloosa municipal airports. And we are about 60, 70, 80 nautical miles almost due east of Des Moines. So that means we're in Iowa. Okay. And absolutely pretty. Okay, we've hit cruise. Let's go ahead and make sure we have our approach altitude set for our arrival. The final approach fix, I believe, was 2,800 feet, so we'll set that in the MCP. Okay, 2,800 is set. And when we get to about 10 nautical miles from top of drop, what I will most likely do is begin descent early. That way, I'll be able to cozy up to descent profile. So we'll meet descent profile instead of chasing it, which, in my opinion, is a better configuration than, say, running after the descent profile and chasing the green tennis ball, which you'll see right on the altitude tape. Because descent rates can get really, really deep really fast, and it would probably be nothing for this plane to want to nosedive, not nosedive, but nose over into like a 3,600 foot per minute descent, maybe even more. So I try to make those descent rates um, slower, but we'll see. Let's take a peek outside again. Not too shabby. We're like, I'd say 150 nautical miles almost due west of Chicago. Excuse me, of Midway, but yeah, Midway. Doing okay. I'm sitting in front of my computer right now, and I've got enough room in my area to have a kind of like night table next to me. I didn't used to have that. I just used to kind of sit down and do the things and just like, fly or do whatever. Over time, I started making the little nook where my night table was into something for the cats. Tonight, I have my one cat next to me sleeping in the nook, which is basically a night table with a couple of blankets on top and a pillow up against the wall. So basically, I've got a sleepy co-pilot next to me. Now, I'm a little bit tired, so it doesn't do me any favors for like yawns and stuff, but we're doing fine. Always worth the risk of yawn to have a sleeping cat next to me. Okay. Good thing I looked at the screens because we've got top and drop coming in about 28 nautical miles. Yeah, there we go, 27. let's get the seatbelt signs back on. And again, once we get inside this last ring, I'm probably going to begin the descent. It'll be a managed descent, but at the same time, I don't think it matters because there's no start into lacrosse. We just go direct to like a waypoint outside the airport and then use an approach to get in. 20 nautical miles before TOD, so we're getting there. Don't know what I'll do tomorrow. Um, there's probably some stuff I need to take care of, so don't know if I'll be streaming. Close at 10 nautical miles, and we'll begin our drop. Okay, 10 nautical miles away, actually 9 now, so now we can begin managed descent. And the descent may not get too bad because we're going away from profile. We're descending way early. But hopefully that will mean that we won't descend at too steep an angle like we talked about before. Because eventually that ball will come back down. That's the quote-unquote tennis ball I was talking about. Here we go. Just as quickly as we got up here, we're starting to come back down. Alright, gang, thanks so much for sticking around with me today. We are beginning our descent in earnest, I think, and I hope that the profile starts coming down to meet us, because we probably need to descend a little bit more peppy than 1,000 feet per minute. Yeah, there we go. Alright, watch. We were at 1,000 feet per minute, and now we're going to begin to increase our descent rate. We're going to start cutting N1, going to idle. And that was why I descended early, because I wanted to try to mitigate the sticker shock of having to chase the descent profile. Okay, so we are idle at this point. And there we go. We didn't go to 4,000 feet per minute, but we got pretty close to 3,600, so not something you want to do normally. At least not in my opinion. Okay, we still have how much fuel? 2.9 kilos. Which means in the next oddball period of time, we're probably going to burn through another 500 kilos of gas, of Jet A, and then we'll land at La Crosse. Descent's pretty quick. One of these days I'm going to have to visit Milwaukee in the sim. Makes me think of Home and On when John Candy was talking about his polka troupe. You know, Ganesh Kickers. Okay, have we left the... haven't left the Mach speed yet. I like how the plane adjusts its pitch to try to shave speed or gain speed. Let's close that screen. There was an East Coast F&O that happened earlier. One of these days I might start getting back to doing VATSIM F&Os like I used to. We have any traffic in the area? Doesn't. Oh no, wait. There are a few. Just way outside my range. We are getting close. After Zipper, we're going to go direct to Pegs and line up for the RNAV approach. I think the AnyBuild A320neo is intelligent enough to plot a glide path for us if we activate approach mode, since we're flying an RNAV. I don't know if it'll work for this specific RNAV because it's a RNAV/GPS, and there's plenty about this that I still don't understand. Not necessarily the plane, but the plane and the procedures. Okay, coming up on transition altitude. We're coming from flight level 210 and eventually we'll be at 180. Afterwards, we'll do local pressure. A little windy out there, looks like. A little less than 2,000 feet to go, and we will be back in local pressure. We will presumably be landing soon. So we're going direct to Laker and not to the other waypoint. Where are we going? Oh, we are going direct to Laker. Okay, wow. So the approach big must have been Laker. I thought it was the other one. I thought it was Pegs. Hmm. All right, back to normal pressure. I get the sneaking suspicion that we're going to be doing a little bit of acrobatics if we don't descend in time. Not acrobatics, but like, flying like the reverse approach or flying over the airport or doing a bit of a hold turn. There was a hold that I did once on one or two streams ago when I was flying in somewhere. I'm thinking I let the computer basically just do its thing, and then it took us out of the hold, or I canceled the hold once I knew that we were getting down to the altitude. Probably the latter. Okay, no crazy deviations probably means that this descent rate is going to work for us. So, that's okay. We're pretty zippy right now, though. I think when we get to this purple dot, we're going to level off and decel before we go below 10,000. And then we will be roughly 25 nautical miles from the airport directly, and we'll have a little bit of prep time before we land, which is what I want to have. I want to have a little bit of time to prepare and make sure that we're configured for landing. So, since we already crossed transition altitude, then let me just make sure that the altimeters are set. This should be 3000 and config 3 is going to be VREF plus 5 of 137. Fuel left wing tank, low level if no leak. That's interesting. There was a bit of a hiccup. Outer tank transferred. Okay. I usually don't fly with this little fuel, so doesn't new one. I thought we were having a failure or something. Huh. Interesting. Alright, where was I? I guess I was getting configured for landing. So, right. 3000, we have our final approach fixed altitude set, and it's going to be 3000 if we have to go missed. I think we're good either way. Okay, now we are inside of 20 nautical miles. So if I have to, I'll bring the gear down even at 10,000 feet, but I'd prefer not to. Oh, of course, we want to slow down to around 250 knots to be able to transition through 10,000 feet. And speaking of 10,000 feet, let's get our landing lights on. And let's see, wing light back on, logo, beacon, strobe, and now the flight attendants have been notified, and electronic devices should be stowed, and I think we're good. Pretty zippy flight. Coming into the clouds, what is the external temperature? OAT, TAT, and SAT are well above tolerances for icing, so I don't think we're going to have an icing problem. There's also no weather to encourage that, but clouds can sometimes be deceiving. Okay, how close are we to the approach? We are... It's about like 12 nautical miles out, but we are slowing down. Okay, just busted through the cloud. Less than 6,000 feet, and we haven't really slowed down all that much. This is right about the time I deploy the gear and just start stepping through flaps. Yeah, we do that now. Even though we don't have flaps in. Okay. There we go. Gear down, 3 greens. And here's the river. We're going to basically follow it down till it leads us to the runway. Okay, and that's not it. Okay, we'll go flaps 1. And then let's make sure we hit the approach button.
2,500.
Flaps 2. Final approach. Okay, we'll do flaps 3, and that takes care of flaps. Let's make sure ground spoilers are armed. They are. And cabin. Flight attendants, please take your seats for landing. And I'll turn on the APU, but I won't turn on the bleed yet. Okay, so we are definitely flirting with the alpha floor right here. It's crazy. It's really zippy. Winds shifted just a touch.
1,000.
1,000, pretty stable. Red over white. We aight. Winds are also not bad today. Okay, we went through 500 feet. Let's go ahead
400.
and disable autopilot.
$300. Minimum
Continue.
$200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Reach up 10. 5.
Okay. With authority. And we're down. 80 knots. Manual braking. And welcome down. Okay, use the whole runway up, why not? I think I probably should have let the auto brakes slow me down some more, but we cut it off right around 80, so we're fine. We're fine. We'll retract the flaps and let's see. No, the speed brakes are deployed. Let's go ahead and retract them. Yeah, they're set down. All right. Sorry about that, but welcome down to La Crosse Regional. Local time is tired o'clock. We are now off the runway, so we can go ahead and turn on the APU, or excuse me, start the APU and bleed. Going past the GA side of the airport. This is, of course, a freeware scenery through flightsim.to. Not bad. Let's get the brake fan turned on, and I'll leave taxi lights on and strobe lights on, but landing lights I tucked away. And let's double check the map. Okay. Actually, I took the wrong way, so we're going to take the scenic route, cross 2-2. We're actually on Bravo. I should have made the left turn just then. And we'll make a left turn from Bravo onto Charlie and then come back down to the terminal. But that will also give us time to let the engines, I guess, idle. Almost like turbo timing on the old turbocharged cars, so you wouldn't just shut them off. Okay, so what am I missing? I don't think I'm missing much of anything right now. Hang on. No, brake fans on, and that's about it. There we go, block time. Hour and 4 minutes. We actually made it in really early, which is great. And I believe this is Charlie. Okay, welcome to the western side of the Cross Regional. So, flight directors can come off, same thing for constraints and landing scales. Now that we're off the runway, so I'll turn the strobe lights off. And the wing lights. Beacon, nav lights, and taxi lights are the only things on at this point. We have the APU bleed running. And I'm going to go ahead and take these off and depressurize. This just come off. And that's it. Let's taxi in, everybody. This is Kilo Lima Sierra Echo, the Cross Regional. I believe it's available through flightsim.to, and you can get it there for free. $3.99. Superb in this economy. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my taxi light off since I'm on a non-movement surface. We'll have some fun. Let's see if we can find where the NPCs are waiting for me. I used to kind of get good at picking where to park, because I always liked going where they were waiting for me. It also looks like GSX kind of like auto chose that spot for me, which is funny. that. Somebody coming out to meet me. All right, so they're already hooked up, and now we're going to go ahead and shut down. APU is running, so I can go ahead and cut engines 1 and 2, and we can cut the block timer and the chrono. So it's probably like 53:49 for total flight time. And now I think I should be able to request deboarding. We're already hooked up. So let's go ahead and do that to GSX.
The boarding requested.
Deboarding requested. We're going to choose American. And let's go ahead and continue the shutdown process. Well, I don't see an external power source anywhere. That's weird. Right, so ground power. We use ground power, cut the APU bleed. And master switch. Beacon light can come off, nav lights can come off, and seatbelts, no smoking signs can come off, compass light, and then basically this can go back to standby, standby, and zeros. And that is that. External power, and we can cut the fuel pumps.
Thank you for flight. Passengers deboarding starting.
Now, this actually is a interior, excuse me, plane with an interior. So let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to use the slow drone speed. We're going to go in. I like how they have the Orbit Airlines right there. Okay, so they're deboarding, and I didn't see them board because I didn't actually board them at the departure airport. This is the freeware scenery, by the way, in case you're curious. It looks really nice, actually. Ticketing, restaurant. Yeah, for free, I'm a fan. I like it. Teaching me lessons. And we do have our luggage being removed. Excuse me. There we go, much better. Alright, so basically, once everybody is done deboarding, what I can probably also do is call for ground services like cleanup. So let's see, not the ice. We could probably do a lavatory service, water service. I can request cleaning service. Probably won't need either one of these. It was a short flight.
Goodbye.
And
Goodbye.
spawn vehicle, free the sparking from AI, flightsim.to. Wow.
Bye-bye.
Apparently, there's plenty about this that I don't understand, which is kind of fun.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for flying with us.
Yeah, this is neat.
Bye.
Okay, so they're still deboarding. I think once everybody's gone, we can test the cleaning. I'm kind of curious because I've actually never seen them in action. But turned out to be a pretty nice day out at La Crosse Regional. So I'm glad we took the time to fly out here. It's my first time visiting this airport in FS 2024 and this airport overall, period.
Bye-bye.
40 of 131. What I might do is I might actually reset
Goodbye.
or see if I can
Thank you for flying with us.
accelerate this.
Bye-bye. Bye. Good morning. Good morning. Goodbye.
Anything else that I left on?
Goodbye.
Let's see. I know where standby and zeros for squawk. Engine to shut off. Ignition mode is not crank or ignition start.
Goodbye.
So it'll probably take a little while for me to get there.
Thank you for flying with us. Goodbye.
We'll see what happens if we leave it alone for a little bit.
Good morning. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Good morning. Goodbye. Good morning. Thanks for flying with us. Goodbye. 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 Good morning. Bye. Thank you for flying with us. Bye. Goodbye. Thanks for flying with us. Bye. Goodbye. Good morning. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
morning. Good morning. Goodbye. 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 Good morning. Bye-bye. Good morning. Good morning. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Good morning. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Thank you for flying with us. Thank you for flying with us. Good morning. Thank you for flying with us. Goodbye. Thank you for flying with us. Good morning. Thanks for flying with us. Goodbye. Thank you for flying with us. Goodbye. 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 Good morning. Goodbye. Good morning.
Do you want to deboard crew? Crew deboarding starting. Your crew has deboarded. Crew bus is coming.
Sorry about that. I was on a call with a very good friend, and you got to see the cleaning crew in action, and so did I. It's a bit of a trip, a bit of a trip. That's actually pretty interesting. Now, the next question, does this door actually open? I want to say yes, but I don't know. And is the cleaning crew cleaning the outside of the plane? I don't think so. And that's dope. Look, they actually have a truck for the cleaning crew. That is so cool. Oh man, this takes me back to like when I was using GSX with FSX. Nice. That is funny though. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. We had the flight, the deboarding, and the cleaning crew go all the way through the cabin. That's pretty neat. That's actually pretty neat. I might I might have to do more full service flights like this in the future. Um, for anybody still sticking around and for making it through the experience, thank you for being a part of tonight's flight and for saying hello, hanging out. Dem Pork Chops again. Thank you for the Prime sub. And Abanya's player, my friend. What's going on, Joe? I just wrapped. We were in we were in Higginsville. We took off from a GA airport with a Neo, with an actual Neo, and managed to fly from Missouri to Wisconsin. Um, yeah, I don't know if you were here earlier, Joe. We actually showcased the GSX cabin crew cleaning thing. I called them in after we deboarded, and the crew and the pilots left, and they actually went up and down the cabin, which is dope. Um, it's good for the immersion. I enjoyed it. I was on mute. I was like, catching up with a friend, but wanted to share it for you guys. Yeah. I mean, like if you fly an airliner with an interior, then basically this is for you. I don't know how long it would take if you flew the 777, but I would imagine it'd probably bring more people over, and that's actually pretty cool. I like it. I don't know if you were here at the top, Joe. Today was not the best day, but God is good, and He knows. I have absolutely no clue how I'm going to make bank the next couple of weeks, but we'll figure it out, or we won't. But whatever the case may be, it was nice flying around. This was like basically like a 50-ish minute flight, and other than having to look down to disable the audible tone for the autopilot disconnect, we made it down. I think we touched down something like 270, 280 feet per minute in the touchdown zone, and then basically went down to the end of the runway. Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate that. The 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 long and short of it is, we need prayer, and I need some kind of a way to get out of the financial hole that I'm in. It's not pretty. I got to figure out what it is. But love you too, dude. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the Flight Sim community. I just, when all that stuff came down, I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And like that was literally, and I kid you not, that was literally like streaming was literally like the last thing on my mind. And I was just like, I gotta take time away to figure out what's going on. But then when I sat down earlier tonight, uh, I was just like sitting down, and Mrs. Digi was like, dude, go talk to your friends. And I was just like, I don't know. It's just like, no, 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 seriously, like go talk to your friends. If it helps you, do it. So, really grateful. Um, I'm a little more tired than I'd like to be for like another flight, because otherwise, if I was like wide awake, I'd probably pop into a GA plane or something. But here, consolation prize. We'll take a look at the airport real fast. We just settled in here. This is La Crosse Regional in Wisconsin. About 1,000% sure it's Wisconsin. And yeah, man. This is a freeware airport through flightsim.to. I don't even care that some details are missing, if you can call it that. It looks nice. This is free, dude. Free. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Even got baggage claim. I'm pretty sure there's no interior, and that's okay. That's okay. For free, I'll take what I'm given and I'll enjoy it. So it's a plenty good looking place. Yeah, supporting us geeks and nerds. Oh, dude, you don't even know the half of it. Like I told you this before, Mrs. Digi, funded both sim rigs that we had, and I'm on sim rig 2, and I mean, life ebbs and flows, and you go from being in a place where you're handling life to swimming against the current and trying to figure out how to actually survive. So we're doing what we can, and I'm grateful for being able to get to a place where I can just like sit down and catch my breath for a moment, even if only for a moment. Um, so I'm doing the best that I can at the moment. But this is not a bad looking airport. I may have to make a point of coming back up to La Crosse Regional more than a few times over the rest of the year. I've been kind of like ping ponging across the U.S. I might need to do some more European flights, even if all I do is hop into a plane and fly from like Ireland to like London, off network or off stream. I'm gonna have to figure out how this works, because visiting other places is good too, and Africa, and like India and Thailand. Um, Although of course, if I'm gonna do that, I'm probably gonna go into like X-Plane 12, because there's some. I think there's like more than a few good airports in like Southeast Asia that I can go visit. Places like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tomorrow, I honestly don't know if I'm going to be on stream. I would like to say that I will be, but again, I don't know what's going on. So, I'm going to chill out, maybe play some like retro games, turn off the computer, and just like hang out with the sleeping cats for a bit before I tuck them into bed. I don't want to stay up like super duper crazy late, but at the same time, I'm going to be, waking up when I do, and we'll tackle it. We got some adult responsibilities. Got to take care of a slow drain in the kitchen sink. So we'll do what we can, and I don't know. I'll see where the Lord takes us. All right, friends, take it easy. I'm gonna go ahead and chill for the evening. We're just gonna go ahead and cut the stream. It's late as it is, so we'll just enjoy it and chill out. Like I always like to say at the end of the stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. And sometimes every day truly is a new day, and His mercies are new every morning. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great night. Love to all of you, and God bless you.